Hello, welcome back to my channel. For anyone new here, my name is Sophia. I am so happy to have you here. For today's YouTube, we're gonna be doing a Q&A / get to know me. I already have one of these, but I feel like there's some new things in my life that have gone on that I wanna update you guys on. And I have, a little bit of new followers here, so I figured I would just do one of these every couple months, and it's been a couple months, so let's get into it. So I asked you guys questions on Instagram and also to some of my TikTok people as well. A majority of the questions are just basic questions what do you do? How old are you? All that stuff. And a lot about birth control, which I love to chat about that type of stuff. So I figured I would do just a basic introduction of myself. So my name is Sophia Pinella. I am originally from the Bay Area in California, born and raised in Walnut Creek. I graduated college last year in 2021. I went to University of Oregon for 2 years before I transferred to University of Nevada, Reno, which is UNR, for the last 2 years during COVID, which was so fun. And yeah, I graduated last year. I own my own business and LLC that is called Sophia Pinella Fitness LLC. It is my absolute pride and joy. I started that right after I graduated. I graduated with my major in public relations and advertising and my minor in business administration. So we are an educated queen. And yeah, I'm doing what I love. I share my life with you guys on social media and it's amazing. I feel so lucky to do what I do, and I consider all of you guys like my besties and my friends. So that's kind of a little bit of a basic background of me. Oh, also, I live in Reno, Nevada right now. And Nash and I live together. So we've lived together Nash is my boyfriend, for those of you guys who don't know. But we've lived together for the past year now, and we love it here. We're 30 minutes away from the beautiful Lake Tahoe. It's a small enough but big enough city, and we're really happy here. So that's kind of what we're up to right now, and that's kind of a basic introduction. One of you guys asked me how old I am, and I don't even think I covered that in the intro. I'm 23, almost 23 and a half. Yes, I do recognize my half birthday. I don't know why people don't. I feel like half birthdays are really cool, but I turned 24 in January. So I'm a January Aquarius. Raise your hand if you're an Aquarius. But I feel like January Aquarius people and February Aquarius people are very different. So raise your hand if you're a January Aquarius and let me know if you are, because we need to stick together. There's very, very few of us. I feel like a lot of people are confused. I'm getting a lot of questions of what would you do if social media wasn't your career? Or what do you do besides social media? What do you do for a job? A lot of questions about that. So I feel like some people are maybe a little confused with what I do, which is totally fine. And it makes sense because whenever I see people who are on social media, if they're content creators, I'm always what do you do for a living? What do you do? And I totally get it. So like I said before, and I've talked about this plenty of times before, so I'm sorry if you've already heard this spiel, but like I said, I own my own business. I own my own LLC, and that is what I do for my career. That's my main source of income. So when people are what do you do for a living? I say, I own my own business. I'm an online coach and personal trainer. That's what I say that I do. I share my life with you guys on social media. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a content creator, although I do create content. But what I say is that I also share my life on social media and stuff like that. However, social media and my business work hand in hand. Obviously, the more people that follow me, the more people that engage with my content, the more clients that I get, the more action that I get with my business. So they do work hand in hand. The more people that use my links to try to support me. I do make money through, links that I provide to you guys, with an Amazon storefront, which you don't make that much money with it. I like to know it, not too much, but it definitely does add up. And then other, some companies that I work with, my supplement company, Legion, that I work with G Athletica, which is a clothing company, and TLF, which is a clothing company, Glow Pro Tans, the tanning that I use that I'm so golden bronze with today, and then, Natural Cycles and everything like that. So anytime you guys use my code, I do make a little bit of a kickback of percentage off of that, but it, and it does add up. But my main source of income is my business and my coaching. Now, the difference between me and I guess you could say content creators. I don't know if you guys want to group me in with them. You totally can if you want. I don't feel like I am, but is that like, this is by no means to sound conceited or anything, but just to kind of like break down the background of things and like content creating. There's so much money in content creating, and I understand why so many people want to do it, and I say go for it. If you want, post the freaking TikTok, post the Instagram reel, whatever it is, start a page. Like, that is the new form of marketing, and it's in advertising, and it's incredible. It takes time to like actually make money from it, but there's a lot of money there. So I get anywhere from 20 to 50 emails a day. Some are bigger companies, some are not as big companies. Of collabs, like they're like, hey, what are your rates in analytics? We'd love to send you X to use, you know, in your TikTok or whatever. So I would say like, I charge this amount for a TikTok, and they would be like, okay, perfect, we can agree with that. Or you kind of have to kind of go back and forth and bargain a little bit, be like, okay, well, we can offer this. And you're like, well, I can only accept up to that. Back and forth. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And you can accept like collabs, brand deals and stuff like that, and you can get paid to post. I don't do that. I don't do that often. I've done it a few times, but any brands that I work with don't pay me to post. It's kind of just like stuff that I use in my day-to-day that I love to share with you guys. And yes, I make money, like I said, from the links and stuff, but it's not really... Does that kind of make sense? I don't know. I know it's like kind of confusing, but anyways, as my rant, this is why Q&As and getting to know me's are so difficult for me, because my favorite thing to do is talk. So I'll just like go on a rant for like one question for 20 minutes long, but I'm gonna try to keep it in check to answer all your guys' questions. But that's kind of how they work hand in hand. I hope that kind of makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, main job is my business. All right, first kiss story. My first kiss was a truth or dare in 7th grade. I'll keep the name anonymous on who it was with, but the kid was about 6 inches shorter than me. I was really tall growing up, and I'm tall now. I'm like a little over 5'7", probably like closer to 5'8" with shoes on. But I was like a super tall girl in my class. I was always at the front of the line because I was like tallest girl in the class, if not like top 2 or 3. So I was taller than like every guy. This kid was about like 6 inches shorter than me, but everybody had a crush on him, and he was like, you know, the bee's knees in 7th grade. And it was a truth or dare at like a party. We did it, and I literally came home and I started bawling to my mom. I was like, I'm so sorry, like it was a truth or dare and I kissed him and I'm so sorry. And my mom's like, it's fine, like it's fine, it's not a big deal, like congratulations. First makeouts was horrible. I actually ended up getting hickeys on my lip, which I didn't know what hickeys were at the time. My lips were literally purple and bruised. It was horrible. And my mom was like, I walk out into the kitchen not knowing like what happened or what I look like. And my mom's like, do you have hickeys on your lip? And I was like, what? And she started laughing. So thanks, Mom. Me and Nash's first date. The love of my life. I love Nash, you guys. I love him so much. I could do like a whole YouTube just about him. But Nash and I's first date. So there's this spot in the East Bay, and if you know, you know. But it's called Fish Ranch, and it's basically a giant lookout. Like you go up kind of on the hills, like behind Berkeley and stuff, and you look out of the entire bay. Like you can see Oakland, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge, you can see the Bay Bridge, you can see San Francisco. It's gorge. It's gorge. So, and it's also funny because if you know, you know, like it's kind of a place where people go and they like hang out and do some stuff, you know, whatever. But I was like, why don't we go to Fish Ranch? And he's like, yeah, sure, like let's do it. So he picks me up, and I kid you not, you guys, we literally talked in his car for 6 hours. I'm not kidding. Like we were there until like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. It was so late, and we just like, I basically felt like I knew everything about him within that one date. And then we ended up getting in and out, and he dropped me off. He did open the door for me too. Chivalry is not dead. He came up to my front door, you guys. He came up to my front door and knocked, and he opened the door for me, and I was like, oh my God, I was so nervous. I actually didn't even want to go on the date anyways, because I was like, who dates now? I had a panic attack right before I was leaving, and my mom's gonna laugh about this, but I was like, who goes on dates anymore? I was like, I don't want to go on this date. Like, it's weird. Like, people don't go on dates. Like, I feel like it's so weird. And then I ended up falling in love with him that night. So that was our first date. We got in and out. He dropped me back off, and we basically hung out every day until I left to go back to Oregon. This was over winter break. And then we pretty much started dating from there. All right, one of you guys asked, what coaching credentials do you have? So I have my NASM CPT, which is the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and certified personal trainer there. I am working right now on my nutrition certification with Precision One Nutrition, which I'm really excited for. My 5-year goal is to get also my certification in pre and postnatal training, so I can train all of the future mommies out there. And I also want to know how to train myself, and kind of go through that experience, you know, when I eventually have kids. When do you see yourself getting engaged? The amount of you who asked, when am I getting engaged? When am I getting engaged? When am I gonna get married? When am I gonna have kids? You guys, I'm 23 years old. I don't know, hopefully soon. No, I'm kidding. Nash and I love where we're at right now. We love just dating each other right now. We've lived with each other for a year, and it's been literally the best year of my life. And I feel like we're just in such a good place right now. There's so many things that we want to accomplish before we take that next step. Although I would love to, you know, rock a little cute wedding ring. Not a little one, but like, you know what I mean? I'm so extra. Poor Nash, he's gonna have a heart attack seeing this. But we're just happy with where we're at right now. I would say within the next 2 years, you know, is kind of what we're aiming for. But he's still in school, you know, almost training to be a firefighter, and he's still doing all of that. So I feel like once he's a little bit more settled in his career, once I am more settled in my career, then we'll, you know, eventually that'll happen. I'm ready at any point now, but realistically speaking, definitely within the next 2 years. We don't even have a dog yet. If there's anything I can recommend, I know dogs are like, I mean, I had a dog my entire life growing up. Nash has dogs, everything like that. We love dogs. We're dog people. Sorry, cat people. But if there's anything I can recommend is like live with your significant other without a pet for at least 6 months. Just the two of you. Like, it is the most bonding experience ever. Obviously, if you already have a pet, you know, you can't do that. But if you have the opportunity to not get a dog with your person right away, or a pet with your person right away, I would highly recommend that. Like, you just learn so much about each other, and you're able to pour like 100% of yourselves into each other without having, I don't want to say a distraction, I know that sounds bad, but without having like another variable or factor in that. So yeah, definitely within the next 2 years. Okay, how do you get past the anxiety of going to / starting at the gym? Like, I can't go alone. Honestly, it's something that, like, it gets easier every day. There's sometimes still times though where I get anxious and nervous to go to the gym. Like, my usual timing, I guess my usual timing that used to be the time that I would go to the gym was like around 11 when I was coaching lacrosse. Now with things changing, my timing changed. So I'm now going between like 2 and 4, and that's like a different crowd of people. Like, you know, you see the same people there almost every day and stuff. So even when I go at a different time, I'm like, oh my God, like there's different people in there. Like, I even still get anxious and nervous. But my biggest recommendations, which you'll hear from everybody, but I've been saying this stuff since day one. Number 1, have a plan going to the gym. Have a plan. Know exactly what you're gonna be doing at the gym. What are the machines gonna look like? What dumbbells are you gonna use? What weights are you gonna use? How many reps and sets are you gonna do? And figure out exactly where you're gonna be going in the gym. If you already know what your gym looks like, you'll be able to visualize like, okay, I'm gonna be going from here, then to there, then to here, and always know, like, have like a backup plan. So if one of the machines is taken, you know, do the next exercise and then try to come back to that. So always have a plan. B, wear something cute, put some makeup on, wear something cute that makes you feel good. Doesn't have to be like a cute matching set, but it could be like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable and confident at the gym, wear that. C, have a good playlist. Like, make sure that you have some good music that you can just press shuffle on a playlist and it's just gonna keep going. And it doesn't matter what song comes up. You don't have to like fiddle around with your phone or anything like that. And D, understand that this may sound a little harsh. No one gives a flying kitten caboodle about what you're doing at the gym. No one cares. Like, literally no one cares. Okay? So you have to understand that not everyone's staring at you, sis. Okay? No one is judging you at all. Everybody who steps into a gym is trying to better themselves. Period. End of story. They are there to show up for themselves, to put their health and fitness first, and to, you know, put themselves first. And that's like, you're surrounded by like-minded people, right? And I guarantee you the person next to you is probably thinking the same thing, where it's like, oh my God, are they staring at me? Like, oh my gosh, like what's happening, right? So you're not going to a gym like Alpha Land. I mean, I've never been, I don't really have a desire to go, because like that's crazy. It's like high school gym, it seems like. But it's not like you're going there where there's like a bunch of people filming, a bunch of people flexing with their shirts off and like all this different stuff. Like, you know, go to a gym, find a gym also that like makes you feel really comfortable and confident in the gym. That is like, you know, if it's an all girls gym, if it's Planet Fitness, if it's like a big box gym, or whatever makes you feel most comfortable, that's all that really matters. And yeah, no one's looking at you, sis. So go with a plan. And even if it's just starting out on a treadmill and then doing 2 exercises, each day it gets easier. All that matters is if you show up for yourself. How would you find ways to reconnect with yourself and overcome anxiety and stress? Anytime. Usually I find that if I'm anxious or stressed, it has to do with this thing right here. I either remove my social media apps, I will put a timer on them, or I straight up just will not go on my phone. I'll put my phone down. And that seems to be the most helpful thing for me. Like, yes, I can go for walks, I can do yoga, I can read, I can, you know, maybe take a nap, take a bubble bath, do all the self-care things, but genuinely put your freaking phone away. Put your phone down and get off social media. That seems to be the main stressor for a lot of people without even knowing. Like, that's the core of what a lot of people have like anxiety from, which I feel like a lot of people don't really know. It kind of like triggers and comes in different areas. But put your phone down, spend some time alone, and just don't go on social media. For me, that's what helps me most. I need a refresher like once a month, because social media is extremely draining, and it's just a lot. It's been a lot too the past couple months. There's been so much that's been going on around the world, around the country, and it's heavy and it's exhausting for everybody. So put your phone down. Okay, birth control, sex drive. Can you talk more on that? Currently experiencing similar things. You are not alone. You're not alone, sis. I can promise you that. I will chat about it here, but I do have a YouTube video that is a get ready with me / my full birth control story. If you want to check that out, I talk a lot about, you know, low sex drive, what it was like going through my entire birth control story, getting on it, why I got on it, how I felt on it, why I got off of it, and my entire coming off birth control story, and what I experienced there. When it comes to a low sex drive, it can be a variety of different things, right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, yeah, it's your birth control, you need to get off, because that I have no right to. I have no idea, you know, what your life is like. It could be other things. But if you do feel like it is triggered or it is because of birth control, it's a tough thing to experience. It really is. It's so defeating, and it's embarrassing, and it's humiliating, and it's just so like, you just don't know what to do. You feel like you just don't have any direction that you can go in. And I can tell you that getting off birth control was obviously the best decision for me in regards to my sex drive and getting my libido back. But I just talked to Nash about this the other day. I don't think that I'm the same. And it makes me sad, because it's definitely significantly better. Like, I am so much better off birth control than I was on, especially towards the end, but I'm not the same. I haven't been the same. It's been almost 2 years now. So it's not like I'm not giving you any hope. Like I said, I'm much better. But just realizing that, like, I'm not the same girl as I was when I was, 18, 19, 20. I'm now 23, turning 24. My hormones were very different at that time. I was at a very different place in my life. I was experiencing a lot of new things, with college, with, graduating high school and doing that whole thing, getting into sororities, like meeting a whole new plethora of people. So it's just like a different time of my life. But just know that, like, you're not alone. It takes time if you are potentially going to get off birth control to get it back. And I would definitely recommend, getting your blood and urine tested. Definitely, if not your blood tested, check your levels. See if you can even get your hormones tested. I know that that's, taking an extra length, but if anything, baseline, get your blood work done. See where your basic levels are at. See if there's any issues going on there. Hopefully your doctor, should be willing to help you out to kind of like figure out some things. Maybe there's some other underlying conditions and stuff that, could be causing that as well. But just know You're not alone, sis. Favorite thing about Nash. You guys are so cute. Thank you. My favorite thing about Nash is, where do I start? Oh my God, there's so many things. It's his heart. He's got, and if you know Nash, like you just know, but he is hands down the sweetest, most kind person in the world. He will talk to anybody and everybody. He will never make you feel less than. You always feel like you're heard and listened to when you're listening to him. Although, you know, in my case, he oftentimes zones out. But like, I get it because I talk a lot. No, but really, he is just the sweetest person. He's just got a good heart, and he's nice. He's nice. He's a nice person, and he's always been nice. He's been the same since day one. And it's actually so funny. When we first started dating, I was like, I remember asking him this like a few days into us hanging out, because you know, you're in the honeymoon stage and we're like hanging out all the time. And I turned to him and I asked him, because I was used to toxic men, but I asked him, I was like, are you always gonna be this nice? I straight up was like, are you like always this nice? Like, is this kind of how you are? And it was weird for me, because I'm like, I know how to play the game. So if you're trying to like play the game and be mean to me and like be toxic and stuff, like let's go. But like, he was genuinely so nice from the start. And he turned to me and he was like, yeah, like, he's like, if we're still together, he's like, in 5 months, 6 months, ask me, in a year, ask me the same question. He's like, I'm gonna be the same exact person. He is the same, he's the same, if not a better person. Okay, another question. How to build that self-confidence and love. I love that. Honestly, creating a lifestyle that works for you and makes you feel good, doing things that make you feel good, not other people, and putting yourself first. I think the biggest lesson that I learned, whether it was through relationships, like romantic or friendships, was that if people are not pouring energy into you, stop pouring energy into them. It's exhausting, it's draining, it affects your mental health. Stop giving people the time of day if they are not willing to lift a finger for you. That's the biggest thing. Once you start doing that, you will find that people who genuinely care and love you and put effort into you are the people that like gravitate towards you. And once you start feeling that energy and surround yourself with that good energy, you are going to start feeling a lot more confident in yourself. You're going to start loving yourself more because you're putting that energy out there and receiving it. And like I said, doing things that make you happy. So whether that be through movement, through nutrition, through traveling, through reading, through journaling, through, I don't know, whatever, your job, whatever you like to do that fills you up, keep that to yourself, you know, and make sure that nobody ever tries to take that away from you. Have you ever gone through a breakup before, Nash? And did you ever recover from it? I'm kidding. How did you recover from it? Oh, I did. You mean the love of my life when I was 16? Absolutely. Yeah, no, I've gone through a few, you know, breakups and stuff, some of them harder than others. The first one is always like the worst because you're like, I love this person with all my heart. And then you're like, no. But yeah, I would say, how do you get over it? I think that very much depends on where you're at in your life, because, you know, 16-year-old Soph did not my mom's gonna laugh at this, did not handle the breakup very well. I was an emotional wreck. I thought my life was over and I thought I was never gonna love again. But now, you know, my most recent like breakup, it hurt a little less because it wasn't like, you know, as deep, but also I just was at a place in my life where that was my last straw, where I was like, it's a blessing, right? If you guys break up, and I'm not saying you can't break up and get back together, but, you know, finding yourself after a breakup, the post-breakup glow up, there's nothing better. There genuinely is nothing better. How to recover from a breakup, here we go. Leveling up in all aspects of your life, okay? You don't, you know, sleep around with their friends. You don't go out and try to like do things to try to make them jealous. You don't do anything that involves them or is a thought of them. Like, I'm doing this because of them. If you level up in every aspect of your life, you are emotionally happy, you are physically killing it, you are financially stable, to, you know, an extent, because none of us are financially stable, really. You know, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, if you are leveled up in every aspect after a breakup, there is no better FU than that. There is none. It's better than telling them to screw off. Like, it genuinely is, and I guarantee you they'll try to come crawling back to you once they see you doing well. That's it. They always do. They always do. They always do. So if you're trying to hold off for them coming back to you, they will eventually. If it takes 6 months, a year, whatever it is, they will. But the biggest thing that I can say is pour into yourself. That is what is going to absolutely wreck them. Because imagine you breaking up with somebody, or you guys break up, and you see your significant other doing better than you or better than they were with you, it hurts. So if you want them to hurt, that's what you gotta do. Advice to younger you. Maybe advice you don't hear commonly. I love you. Okay, love you too. Advice to younger you. If I were to sit down with younger Soph right now, I could not even look her in the eyes. I'd be like, you're crazy. I would say that everything that you go through is for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And whatever you're supposed to do with your life and whoever you're supposed to be is all going to work itself out. Because I've gone through a lot of experiences, you know, having to transfer colleges. That was traumatic. That was one of the worst experiences ever. Super defeating, humiliating, embarrassing, but it ended up making me the strongest person ever. So everything that you go through, whether it's good or bad or whatever, if you're struggling with your career, if you don't like the job that you're in, everything happens for a reason, and you just have to trust the process. And you have to understand that your path is already made. Like, your path is already made. You're just walking down it right now. So whatever's happening, like supposed to happen, whatever's happening right now, whatever's supposed to happen in the future is gonna happen. So just let it go. Let it go, stop stressing, and just walk your path and just understand and trust that everything is gonna happen for a reason. Okay, that is kind of a get to know me. Hopefully I answered like most of your guys' questions. If you guys were curious about who I am, what I do, you know, about Nash and I, about birth control, about, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, that's me, you guys. I'm gonna be doing like a Q&A and a get to know me like every few months, because I'm sure that like I'll have to update you guys on like some new things or like whatever. But I love these videos. I love chatting with you guys. I love when you guys ask me questions and want to get to know me a little bit better. And I just really appreciate all of you who did ask a question. I love you and I appreciate it. If you stayed to the end of this video and you're still watching it, thank you so much for your support. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.